You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. We help church leaders to protect their people and property with wisdom and clarity. If you're a church leader in Texas, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about insurance non-renewals and why so many churches are opening letters they never expected to receive. Lane pastors a church in Amarillo, faithful congregation, active ministries, nothing flashy, nothing reckless, and yet a notice arrived in the mail that stopped him cold. Their insurance company was not renewing the policy. No accusation, no scandal, just a statement that coverage would end and finding a replacement might be challenging. That word alone was enough to rattle the entire leadership team. Lane's story isn't unique. It's happening all over Texas. And if it hasn't happened to your church yet, there's a good chance it eventually will. Let's talk about why this is happening and what church leaders need to do next. The Texas church insurance market is under real strain. Severe weather has driven massive property claims, especially hail losses tied to large church roofs. At the same time, inflation has driven rebuilding costs higher and higher, and insurance companies are paying far more per claim than they did just a few years ago. Behind the scenes, insurers themselves buy insurance called reinsurance, and those costs have skyrocketed. When claims rise and reinsurance costs rise, carriers respond by raising premiums, tightening terms, or leaving the market altogether. For many church insurers, Texas has simply become too volatile. That's why churches are seeing non-renewals that feel sudden and impersonal. It's not always about your church. It's about how the industry is reshaping risk. But here's the part church leaders need to hear clearly. A non-renewal notice is not the end of the road, but it is a moment that requires calm, informed action. The worst thing you can do is panic or wait too long. Non-renewals compress timelines. Coverage options narrow quickly. Decisions made under pressure often cost more and protect less. This is also where many churches discover something uncomfortable. Over time, their insurance program became passive. Policies auto-renewed. Coverage drifted. No one revisited whether the policy still fit the ministry as it exists today. When a carrier exits the market, it forces a reset. That reset can actually be healthy if it's handled correctly. Church insurance today isn't just about property anymore. It's about liability tied to counseling, employment decisions, youth activities, special events, and increasingly online data protection. Every ministry expansion adds exposure, even when the mission is good and necessary. This is why working with a church insurance specialist matters more now than ever. Not someone learning church risk on the fly. You need an advocate who understands Texas weather, church operations, and how carriers are underwriting risk right now. That's exactly where Lane landed. By working with a Texas-based church insurance specialist, his church didn't just replace a policy. They restructured coverage intentionally, aligned it with their real risks, and restored confidence to their leadership team. If your church has received a non-renewal notice or you're worried one may be coming, talk with our Texas church insurance specialist at Insurance for Texans. The sooner you start the conversation, the more options you'll have. You can connect with us by going to our website at insurancefortexans.com. And if you want a framework for navigating moments like this with clarity instead of fear, I encourage you to read our book, The Promise of Certainty. It's written for pastors and church leaders facing complex decisions and needing a clear path forward. You can get your copy by going to thepromiseofcertainty.com. I'm Ron Wadley, and this has been Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. Until next time, remember, non-renewals are unsettling, but with the right guidance, they can become a turning point towards stronger stewardship and better protection.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.